Hi guys, welcome back to Rancor Reptiles. My name is Hector. This here is Sprinks, my main man. This is my pastel Batman. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a subscriber, thank you. And if you're not, subscribe, all that good stuff, comment. It is hot as hell in my room, that's why I'm glistening. It's really hot. Sorry guys. But regardless. Today's video is really just a tip video if you're getting into ball pythons and really you're just getting into ball pythons and you're building up a collection. I think that this video will, fit a lot of people nicely. This is, I think, advice that everyone can use, because everyone that I've talked to has fallen into some conundrum because they didn't really follow these kind of tips. Alright, the first tip is get into a project, a recessive project you really like. That's it, right? Buy what you like. Get into a recessive project you really like. I like clown. All of my stuff, minus one snake, has to do with clown. The one snake is my big girl Cream, first snake ever. I just kind of had her as a pet and then had her for a couple of years. Then I jumped back into buying ball pythons. But that's when I kind of had a mindset of where I wanted to take things. So Cream is besides the point. I love her, but she's more like a pet at this point. Buy into a project you really like. Doesn't have to be clown. Clown's really popular. Pied's really popular. Desert Ghost, really nice. Monarch, Ultramel, Tri-Stripe, Monsoon, Cryptic, Sunset, you name it, it's out there. There is a recessive project you will absolutely fall in love with. What you need to avoid as you're starting out is buying a little bit of everything, okay? Now you can do that in a very smart, tactical way where you can build up really nice double recessive, double het recessives. However, when you're first starting out, that's a little risky because double het recessives, you do need to have some money in the bank for it, because you are going to have to reinvest into some pretty pricey animals. You can always breed het to het as a more affordable way. However, you're throwing basically dice. However, you're going to be you have some chances of producing some really nice animals. Regardless though, make sure that when you start a project or want to buy into a project, that you have a focused vision of where you want to go. Now there's tons of snakes out there that can, that really inspire people. Justin Kobylka came out with a Batman back in the day. Just inspired a bunch of people to get into clown. Started off the spot nose craze. Everybody wanted a Batman. Absolutely fantastic looking snakes. And then, other stuff came along. People started stacking genes. I really love Desert Ghost clowns. I love them. And thankfully, that is really not too far away from where I am now. I have a Desert Ghost, I have a clown, breed them together, I'll have double hets, buy a visual clown het Desert Ghost, breed them to those snakes after 2 years. I have a shot at producing some DG clowns. That is my short goal, okay? In about 3 or 4 years, hopefully I will get there. As a Hail Mary, long-term goal, I really like Xanthic Desert Ghost clowns. However, a lot of the stuff that's on the market right now is VPI. That's a lot of the Xanthic mixed with clown is VPI. However, I like TSK line Xanthics more, just simply preference. So that Desert Ghost Xanthic clown is my project I want to reach. That's my direction. That's where I'm heading towards, and that's where I'm shimmying with all my fatness. Alright, so keep that in mind. You're getting into the ball pythons, find a snake you really love. Look at the Stormtrooper, an absolutely beautiful snake. Batman, Ultramel stuff. It's just tons of stuff to be inspired by. Alright. So, tip number 1, you have a clear vision of a snake that you want to produce or a certain project you want to follow. Perfect. Second tip you need to follow is mind your sex ratios, okay? Females are more expensive than males. However, you need to understand that females take longer to become breeder ready. Females take 2 years to become breeder ready. Males only need around 8 months for them to start pairing successfully. So keep in mind that if you're fresh, you're barely new to the hobby, and you don't have a snake in your room, that means that you are probably going to have, most likely, buy hatchling females. Be very careful with the amount of males you buy. Snakes do not pair and mate for life, okay? You do not need a 1-to-1 ratio. I believe that a 1-to-4 ratio is probably what's best. You don't overstress your male, and you can have your male revisit a snake several times each season, guaranteeing that you reduce the risk of your snake slugging out. So make sure that when you're buying your snakes, you keep in mind the gender ratios. How many males do you have in your collection? I would really recommend, if you're fresh, you don't have a single snake, to only buy females in the beginning. If you only have room for 10 snakes, 8 of those slots, 8 of those positions need to be filled with females. The last 2 can be males, okay? Gotta make sure that you have your females growing at home, because if you're not growing them, you're basically wasting time. Do not buy your males so early on as well, because they mature pretty quickly. They only need 8 months. So you can buy your female, grow her up for 2 years. She's, I don't know, in 2 years she might be 1,600 grams. When she reaches, 1,600 grams, you buy your male. It'll take him 8 months to grow up. In the meantime, your female has some extra time to pack on some weight. So instead of going at 1,600 grams, she might be going at 1,800 grams, giving you the opportunity for maybe an extra egg or 2 in the clutch. And I really kind of like how that kind of works itself out. Now, if you do find a male as you're growing up your females and you absolutely love that male, and you can absolutely see a future where that male is good for season after season after season, and it's a good investment that will repay itself off, go ahead. Right? Otherwise, you're buying a male basically just to take up space and eat your food. So mind the gender ratios, okay? Make sure you buy your females first, then worry about your males. The males will always be ready. The females, you got to get them when they're hot, when they're available, so you can grow them up under your care. Or you can pay the premium and buy them breeder ready. However, I'll tell you this, I've never really met anybody willing to get rid of a female that's breeder ready that lays big clutches, okay? I really don't see that. Maybe for an animal that isn't really gene packed, perhaps. However, you really don't see anybody selling a clown female that lays 12 egg clutches, okay? It's unheard of. Alright, the last thing is, while you're buying your snakes, you need to keep in mind the genetics you're buying, okay? You need to have some foresight. Most people say, yeah, I have good foresight, I have good, I have good idea where I'm going. And then they buy a snake, they buy another snake, they buy another snake. They turn around. Luckily, they've only bought females. However, half of their snake have pastel. I love pastel. I think pastel has it. Pastel is a beautiful gene. There is no reason to dismiss it. There's no reason to hate it. Pastel is an absolutely beautiful gene. This male has pastel in it. I love it. It's fine. I think pastel is pretty much a good looking gene. However, understanding that you do need to diversify. Much like any good financial portfolio, you need to have some level of diversification, okay? Let's say, for example, you only have room, like I said, for those 10 snakes. You bought 8 females. I hope to God you did not buy just straight up clowns. A normal clown female, another normal clown female, and a normal clown female. If you buy one normal clown female, that's fine, or a couple, that's fine. However, understand where those snakes are going to do for you in the future. Of course, having a fully grown, ready to breed adult clown female is a powerful thing in of itself. However, you are kind of limited. So what I personally did is that I made a list of all the genes I have and all the genes I want and genes I want to stay away from. Right up there is pastel, because I have enough pastel. This guy here will produce enough pastel for me to live off of. Okay, don't need no more pastel. What I do need, for example, I really like Orange Dream, so I went out, bought myself an Orange Dream Enchi girl, because she's female, she has Orange Dream, and she has Enchi. I don't have Enchi nor Orange Dream. Fits perfectly. Another one of my females is a Leopard Nuclear Blast Het Clown. I do have Leopard. I do not have Butter. I do not have Fire. I do not have Pinstripe. I do have Pastel. And it's Het Clown. So that particular snake has around 3 genes that I would like to have in more snakes. So, perfect buy. I have another girl, a pastel spot nose girl. Yes, I already have spot nose thanks to this guy. However, I think that I can mix her up with other powerful males that don't have spot nose to basically save me the cost of producing some very awesome animals. So I think that was a good fit. Next up is my Mojave Clown. Mojave Clown, beautiful looking snake, fits into my plan very well. If you notice, a lot of my snakes really don't have repeated genes. Maybe the spot nose and the pastel spot nose, and the pastel that seems to be in half of my stuff. That's why I really don't need more of it. When I'm trying to sell snakes now, a couple of my hatchlings, well, there was one particular snake, my pastel Mojave spot nose clown. She looks absolutely beautiful. However, because she has pastel in her, people kind of turn away from her, you know. I've had more questions about the Mojave spot nose babies than the pastel Mojave spot nose. It's just how it is. So I'll go over the three tips I want you to keep in mind as you go and buy your collection or grow it. Number 1, make sure that you get into a project you do not want to back out of. You know, buy something you really want to get into. Number 2, mind the sex ratios. You need to buy your females first. You need to grow those up. If you're not paying that premium for that ready to breed female, you better start growing those babies, because you need those big mamas. And step number 3, make sure you know what you're buying. Genetics is not a complicated thing once you immerse yourself in the hobby. However, you also want to make sure that you do not buy genetics that you'll regret later on. You do not want to buy yourself a spider male and have tons of spider offspring. That would suck. So just keep those 3 steps in mind. You know, husbandry, care, space, all that stuff, of course, comes with the hobby, and you will quickly come to understand what you need, because every individual is different. However, keep those 3 things in mind. I've seen tons of people not follow these steps, and really they kind of suffer, or they have to really limit on what they buy because they, you know, just have too much of a particular gene. Alright guys, well that's been the video. If you like it, like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought about it. Maybe there's another step that you want to add to these 3. Put it down below. As always, thanks for coming by and checking out the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.